In a previous post, I talked about education not being uniform. Just because someone has a PhD, that doesn't automatically mean they're right. And when you look at information, regardless where you get it, you have to ask yourself, is this right? Does this match up with what I know to be true? Education is not generic. Science is not generic. Statistics, I would say more often than not, are misused. Peer review does not guarantee proof, nor is truth only truth if it's peer reviewed. Nothing takes the place of our critical thinking, of our investigating thoroughly and asking ourselves, am I understanding this as it's being presented? And does it match with what I already know to be true? Here is someone else giving an example of where statistics has been misused and information has been given to the public as truth that is absolutely wrong.
But if you mention this in polite society, they will say 97% of scientists agree with anthropogenic global warming. No, they don't. Where did this come from? This came from this paper by John Cook et al., 2013. What did they do? They took 12,000 climate papers, of which 66% expressed no opinions, so they threw those out of the window. Of the remainder, 3% rejected global warming completely. Ergo, you might say, 97% of papers with an opinion supported global warming. It sounds like a cat food advert, doesn't it? For those of you old enough to remember that one. But that's not what the paper said. If you dig deeper into this paper, it said 24% of papers supported global warming, only 24%. Now, myself, as a CO2 skeptic, I would be a 24%er because there has been some warming. We don't quite know what is causing it. We don't quite know the magnitude. Nevertheless, there has been some warming, so I would be a 24%er. However, digging deeper into this paper, only 8% implicitly endorsed anthropogenic global warming, that it's all our fault. And only 0.5% of papers explicitly supported the IPCC version of anthropogenic global warming. So it was not 97%, it was 0.5%. That's the true figure. That's the true figure. And the problem here is that all climate scientists are paid to agree with anthropogenic global warming. He who pays the piper calls the tune. If you don't go along with it, you don't get a grant. I know about this because my paper was rejected by the Royal Society because it did not agree with anthropogenic global warming. So I had to go elsewhere to get it published. And if you don't go along with it, well, a bit like my experience, you end up like these climate scientists who were actually pushed out of their jobs because they disagreed with the agenda. That's the problem with modern academia. There is no freedom of speech, there's no freedom of research, there is no freedom within modern academia. That is a real problem that needs to be overcome.